Greetings! This is General CJG here, coming to you with, well, another Disney Star Wars review slash discussion. But this one is, well, it's actually just as non canon as the previous one, which is Star Wars Visions. So, yeah, we're focusing on this too because they came out recently, so we might as well cover them. So, joining me here is.
Hey everyone, it's Jedi Knight Luke. I didn't think I'd be back on an SOSW project so soon after my little hiatus, but, this has been actually it's been on the delay pile for quite a while because of my absence.
Yeah, though to be fair, this came out in October 1, so it's not too late. So there is that. And not to mention, it gave
Yeah.
me time to play Metroid Dread, so there's that.
But
Anyway,
before that, we've got some terrifying and hilarious non-canon tales to talk about in the Star Wars universe. Well,
yes.
the Lego universe, to be more specific.
Yes, Lego Star Wars The Terrifying Tales. Indeed. So, let's begin with, I guess, our brief full thoughts on this entire special. So, Luke, go ahead.
This was an extremely entertaining watch. I said when we did the trailer reaction back in, what was it, September or August?
One of those two.
That it seems like Lucasfilm and Disney are trying to set up a sort of non-canon Lego Star Wars universe, because we've had the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, and there was something else, wasn't there? Which I've forgotten completely. I think there was something else between that and this. But it's hilarious, and the fact that it's non-canon actually makes it far easier to enjoy.
By the way, it was a month ago when we reacted to the Terrifying Tales
Right.
trailer.
Okay, so that was September. Yeah. So it's obviously intended as a Halloween special, but it was released right at the beginning of the month, so it's
Still
a bit
applies.
early.
It still applies.
Yeah, as I said, it's simple, it's funny, and because it's non-canon, you can just turn your brain off and enjoy it.
I mean, it's Lego Star Wars. Who the hell takes Lego Star Wars seriously in continuity? You'd be an
I'm
idiot
not
to do that.
I'm not saying that I ever thought it was canon. I'm not saying that for a second. I'm just saying because it's not canon, you don't have to worry about taking it seriously.
Yep, indeed. Even Wikipedia says it's non canon. So, there you go. So, indeed. So, yeah, I thought it was funny, entertaining. I mean, it's Lego Star Wars. You cannot really go wrong with Lego Star Wars. So, it's always been fun to either play or watch, depending on what it is. So, yeah, even Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens was a fun ride, even if it was based on the sequels. So, yeah, this was awesome. So, indeed. Look, shall we go into this special piece by piece?
I think we should.
All right, then let's begin. So, look, let's go with the beginning then, which is, well, that the special opens with Castle Vader. Yeah, the same one from Mustafar. And Vader is talking about how he pretty much is like, I will finally have the awesome power of the dark side, or something like that. And then Palpatine is like, what the hell are you talking about? Like,
Yeah,
like
he's like, it's a bit on the nose. You can call it Fortress of Evil without actually saying it, you know.
yeah, indeed. And Vanay pretty much just shows up out of nowhere. He is described as Vader's humble servant, and also he got Vader's Bacta tank bath ready, with even a rubber
Yeah.
duck ready.
It's pink for some reason.
maybe it has strawberry flavor in it. I don't know.
Maybe it had, I don't know, bathing soap put in for it. No idea.
It's possible. So Vader takes the bath while Palpatine pretty much assigns Padmé to looking after the castle in their absence. So there's that. And then years later, well, we see Poe Dameron and BB-8 in the X-wing being pursued by First Order TIE fighters. By the way, this is said after the Rise of Skywalker, so pretty much the war between the Resistance and the First Order is done. So these are just remnants of the First Order chasing after Poe Dameron. So
Oh yeah. Something that we kind of skipped over was how the special actually begins, and it begins with the holographic faces/helmets thing that the Bad Batch's opening scene for every episode has,
oh yeah,
and it even has the exact same theme tune,
yeah.
but it cuts off partway through towards the end of that main tune, and Poe's face appears on screen, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, the real change in that, besides Poe Dameron's face, is that it's in Lego form. A first. So, yep. Because I don't remember seeing that intro in Lego form. I don't even think the Holiday Special had it.
No, it didn't.
Yep. So, there is that. Anyway, back to Poe Dameron. Well, they managed to destroy the TIE fighters with an impressive maneuver, but the X-Wing is damaged, so they crash land on Mustafar, and, well, Poe and BB-8 set out to explore the place. And in there, they find Castle Vader, where apparently a hut called Graballa is apparently refurbishing Castle Vader as a Sith-inspired luxury themed resort. Yeah, who the hell thought it was a good idea to take an old Sith castle and turn it into a fucking hotel themed after the Sith?
General, don't question the logic. This is Lego Star Wars. It can do what it wants.
I know, but you think the hut would be like, maybe this Sith castle is not that good for a hotel. Oh wait, at the end it ended up not being that.
Well, this hut does state himself that he is a cousin of Jabba, who, as we know, was an evildoer, so I guess it fits. Like, if you're going to repurpose any evil thing into a resort, make it one of the most evil things you can find.
Yep, indeed. So, and well, Poe pretty much introduces himself to Graballa. Graballa's like, "Oh, you Poe Dameron, the one that destroyed Starkiller Base? Oh my, let me show you Castle Vader." And they're showing him the Castle Vader, and it's hilarious. It literally looks like a resort hotel of sorts, open for tourists and people just wanting to see what's up. There's even like a shop that has some of Graballa's henchmen selling Darth Vader memorabilia. And it has Vader, a robotic statue of Vader greeting newcomers.
Oh yes, feel the awesome power of the dark side at the Empire Emporium.
Oh my god. Like, yeah, there's plenty of laughs to have in this. It's amazing.
And it's then that we're introduced to a young boy who has been working there basically, I guess it's implied his whole life thus far, called Dean?
It's possible. So it is possible. So he introduced himself. He's the one that actually fixes the Vader robotic statue that apparently was malfunctioning. He managed to fix it, so it works now. And yeah, Poe then sees that the boy fixed the statue, so he said, "Hey boy, how about you fix my X-Wing?" And yeah, definitely. Though Graballa did not want it to easily just let the boy fix the X-Wing, he made a deal with Poe. So basically, if Poe records a holobit for Castle Vader, he will allow Dean to fix the X-Wing. So there's that. So,
however, Poe actually alters the deal, shall we say, and requests that his X-Wing be repaired first.
Yeah, because he's dealt with huts before. So there is that. And just as Poe was almost leaving, apparently Vanay shows up and decides to persuade Poe into pretty much, well, basically show the castle. He even shows the helmet of Ren. Yes, Ren. And what Ren I'm talking about? I'm talking about the previous Ren that led the Knights of Ren before he was killed by Kylo Ren, aka Ben Solo. That same one. So, So the story of Kylo Ren. So, Luke, do you want to take over this flashback story?
So, story 1, The Lost Boy. So, it's set on Acto, and we see that young Ben Solo is in his Jedi robes. So, this is very clearly meant to be pre-TLJ in terms of time setting. And we see a group of students, including Ben, being instructed in how to use the Force to stack small rocks. And Ben is, well, much like his grandfather before him, very arrogant, because he manages to do it much more easily than the rest of the students. And even though Luke looks like Last Jedi, cranky old asshole, Luke Skywalker here, he actually tries to be more of a proper Jedi Master. How about that? And tells the boy to be patient. But does he listen?
No.
Oh, and just very quickly before we move on to the next major scene, there's another Padawan in the group called...
Costler.
Is it Kostler?
Mm-hmm.
Who's like...
Master Skywalker! I think I did it! Ow!
Every time with you, Kozler.
Yep. So, indeed. Continue.
So Ben leaves and goes into a village on Ahch-To, and doesn't he then start mocking Luke behind his back, saying
Obviously.
like, how long did he train on Dagobah for? 20 minutes?
I swear that's a nod to the people claiming, the people in the Star Wars fan base claiming that he only trained for a day, when in reality it's canonically confirmed to be a week at most.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's that. Anyway, continue.
So as young Ben is wandering around, the Knights of Ren, with their original leader in the context of this story, suddenly appear before him and tempt him into joining them. So he very quickly changes, outfit-wise, from the Jedi tunic to the black, quote-unquote, tunic and the cape that we all know him to wear as Kylo Ren. I'm trying to remember, is he given the mask straight away?
The moment he joins in, yes, he's given the mask and the outfit entirely.
Yeah, so he literally transforms from Ben Solo to Kylo Ren like that, finger snap.
Mm-hmm.
And they just start wreaking havoc, because the Knights of Ren, their whole shtick is, we take what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of like a really long party night, isn't it?
If that actually was being canon, I probably would have laughed my ass off. I mean, I did laugh my ass off, but if that was canon, it would have been more crazy.
Because it started off with trashing the streets of that village on Ahch-To during the day, and then there was a campfire sequence of some sort. And after that, they return to the island where Luke's Jedi Temple is. And it's here that the original Knights of Ren leader tries to tempt Ben into destroying the Jedi Temple.
Mm-hmm.
But he's conflicted about doing it. And then the Knights themselves actually start taunting him, saying, "Oh, you're a Kylo." And Ben's like, "What? A Kylo?" And what did they say that it meant? Small and afraid or something?
Small, weak, and scared.
Thank you. Small, weak, and scared, so they just keep going, Kylo, Kylo, Kylo. And Ben's just like, no, stop it.
Well, until at the end, he's like, keep calling me Kylo because I'm starting to like it.
But didn't he before that ignite Luke's lightsaber because Ren revealed that he had stolen it, and he said, "I know what I want." When Ren asked Ben what he wanted, and he was like, "I want you to leave me alone."
Yeah.
But yeah, so that happened. Then there was the whole Kylo, keep calling me Kylo, I like it thing, and Luke comes out of his hut, and he just says, "Ben, no," and he's like, "Not Ben, Uncle Luke, call me Kylo." You know, and he puts the mask on and everything.
Too bad he didn't end it by saying, call me Kylo Ren. That would have been something. But it's still the same. So, yeah, that was that story. So, what do you think of that flashback?
What can I say? It was hilarious, but I think the next flashback story, which we'll get to in due time, is even funnier.
I like that flashback, to be honest. Excluding the over-the-top funny moments, this probably would have been a better origin for Kylo Ren than the actual origin. Because the actual origin is so stupid thanks to The Last Jedi pretty much ruining Luke's character.
And again, because this is non-canon, it doesn't royally piss people off. Pardon my French, but you get the point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If this origin was actually canon, remove the over-the-top funny moments, you know, like them having the party at the town and all the other aspects that look outlandishly funny, this could actually be a decent origin to Kylo Ren, better than the official one. Because the official one only has all sorts of plot holes, questions, and at times makes no sense. So, yeah, it would have been just easy as just the Knights of Ren. Oh, they showed up, and Ben was like, yeah, I'll see what you guys are about. And then when he realized at the end that he has to destroy everything he loves or he admires, well, he refuses, kills the Master, but then he gets a lust for power and takes over the Knights of Ren. And that's where he pretty much does it. Like, that would have been much better than what we actually got. So, yeah. Yeah, that's what I think about that flashback. Anyway, coming back to the present
day
of this special. So Banay ends the story, and Poe was like, if that story was really to scare them, and well, let's just say the Hutt and his two servants definitely were scared. So, but the story was to remind them that there is much to be taken by those that are not afraid to use it. And, well, there's that. Then they get into a large door, claiming that there are Sith artifacts behind it. And the prophecy of Mustafar foretells the arrival of a fearless stranger with the strength to open it. And so the gate is marked the symbol of the old empire. I assume the Galactic Empire. Yes, it is. And Banay suggests that a brave pilot who has fought many battles is worthy of opening the gate. So, yeah, both of them open the gate and they find a chamber. And, well, let's just say that then they get into this chamber that apparently it's like a chamber of lightsabers.
Oh, just a quick thing. They were heading down a really long hallway just before getting into that chamber, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And there was this massive scare that the two Iktachi servants had because they thought a monster was coming around the corner, but it was just revealed to be a mouse droid.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, and the Hutt also wanted to add a business center and even a gym inside the castle.
I mean, given all of the additional space that this rendition of Vader's castle has, you could probably do that and make it even more outlandish.
Maybe. So there's that. Oh, and also while they were going through to the Saber Hall, Poe and Dean were chatting about Dean's past, and turns out that Dean, let's just say his family has not had the best income or resources to stay, well, to live happy. And Dean's mother, she had a shop in Arcanis, but the First Order decided to accuse her of helping the Resistance, so they destroyed it, and people didn't want it to hire her mother anymore, so Dean pretty much is the only one working now, which sucks. So I'm curious now how it's gonna go, considering the First Order is defeated, so that will be an interesting thing to see. So
Yeah. But then we come to what you just mentioned earlier, General. The
That's-
ancient lightsaber repository,
yeah.
as the Hut referred to it.
It was Banet, because if you remember, Banet's the one, he's basically the tour guide.
Yes. And they are shown a lightsaber that's slightly different to the rest, with two guards flanking the emitter either side of it. And it's referred to as the lightsaber of Skardant, I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting name, Saber of Skardant. Like seriously, wouldn't you call it Skardont? You know, with the apostrophe in between.
Funnily enough, that's how I have it spelt here in my notes.
It doesn't actually have an apostrophe, but it maybe should. So,
Yeah, exactly. So that takes us on to the second story, the dueling monstrosities.
Yep. So, this one starts with apparently Maul being revived by the Night Sisters. Yeah, we're seeing that. Except that unlike the actual revival in TCW, no, in here, let's just say that they fail like several times to get Darth Maul with good legs. The first legs are the legs he actually got in the show, but for some reason they don't seem to work or something. And then he gets several legs, like a repulsor lift. It even has a wheel similar to BB-8's. And then in the end they decide with giving him spider legs.
Basically like the first set of bionic legs that Maul had canonically when he was stranded on Lotho Minor and found by Savage.
Yeah.
So in this special, he has those legs, but his mind has returned to its normal state.
There's that. Then, well, basically, not only was Maul the only one returned from being left for dead, but also Grievous, as he was known as Quaimane Jai Shilal, his Kalish name.
I was very surprised that they decided to use Grievous's Kalish name in the special.
Yep, well, there you go. So,
I assume he's being rebuilt in his lair on Vasek, judging by the lighting in the area.
yeah, it is. So, yep, he's reborn as a cyborg, and Darth Sidious contacts Grievous and tasks him to retrieve the saber of Skardont, and so Grievous heads out to it.
But before he does it, he humorously falls apart mid-coal. If you remember.
Oh God, Christ!
Like, what was it that went wrong? Was it a leg that went wrong, or was it his arms falling off?
I think it was more his cough. So there's that.
And so Sidious finishes the call, and he's like, hey, I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel with General Wheezius. And he's like, you know, I used to have Darth Maul. Well, when he had legs. And what happens, General?
Oh, Darth Maul literally shows up. He arrives through the window.
And we also see what outfit Maul is wearing here. And he's actually, if you notice on the torso printing, he's wearing the top half of his Mandalore Kama from seasons 5 and 7
That's
of
something.
TCW on the top half.
Yeah, that's
With
something.
the spider legs. And he's like, I've returned. And he's like, and Sidious is like, oh, Maul, you've got new legs. You know, he's very alarmed at the fact that Maul was there. But then Maul very precariously tries to make his way into the office through the window, if I remember right. And one of the legs he can't quite get through.
Oh God.
And then I think when he finally does, he just plummets on the floor.
There's that. Yeah. So, but Maul actually heard Sidious talking to Grievous about Skardont, so he's going to get the Saber of Skardont to prove to Sidious that he's the one that belongs alongside Sidious. So, yep. And both Grievous and Maul are literally fighting to get the Saber of Skardont. And Grievous arrives there first after destroying several Gondarks. Maul arrives later, right when Grievous grabs the Saber of Skardont. And let's just say that Saber makes anyone who touches it have its eyes go red because it makes them go crazy.
And it also has, aesthetics-wise, an unstable blade akin to the saber that Kylo Ren is known for, funnily enough.
Yep, indeed. There is that.
So the two fight, Grievous is going crazy, and there's a lot of dismembering and puns being thrown around. Like, oh, I can do much better than a half Sith. Looks like you're a bit unarmed and don't have a leg to stand on.
Oh my god.
Perhaps you need a little drop. And Maul uses the Force and actually Force pushes all of Grievous's parts off the edge of the temple top or whatever, or wherever it was that they were fighting.
Yeah.
And Grievous is just like, not funny! As he plummets to the ground.
Oh my god, that was funny. So, there's that.
That had me chuckle.
And then at the end, Maul returns to the Saber of Skardont, and he's going to give it to Sidious, except the Saber makes him power hungry, and he wants to keep the Saber. I said there's a problem. The Saber breaks! And with that, Sidious is like, just force pushes Maul into the cliff, and he gives the Saber.
Well, yeah, but there's also the rather humorous moment as Maul falls down of Sidious whistling the Imperial March theme.
Oh,
Not actually. He's like. Again, guys, if you haven't watched the special, he's whistling this. I'm just doing this for illustration reasons. But then on the second part of the first bit that everyone knows, the. Right off the last note, Maul crashes to the ground. Of wherever he fell.
Oh my god. That was hilarious. So, yeah. And that was the second flashback. What do you think?
For me, it was my favorite story out of the three, just because it was so funny. The Grievous and Maul fight, with Maul eventually pushing Grievous off the edge, and then when Maul returns, Sidious doing the same thing to Maul and whistling the Imperial March theme as Maul plummets down to his doom.
Yep.
That was just too funny.
Yes.
What about you?
Oh, I loved it. It was amazing. So, it was great. So, yep. And then we go back to the present, and Dean managed to fix the Saber of Skardont and even turns it on. And let's just say that he's staring into the saber, and Banay explains that Maul learned that power comes not from serving others, but from serving yourself. And then Dean gets the message, and Banay tells him to follow where the saber leads him, and they find a door that needs to have somebody pretty much stick the saber inside in order to open the door. And well, they open the door and they go in. Poe is almost gonna say he has a bad feeling about this, but BB-8 is like, don't even say it.
And then I was like, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, it certainly is. Then Banay explains the Temple of Mustafar was built generations ago as a repository of ancient lore. They see that the place is littered with treasure, and of course the Hutt and his two workers want to grab it all up because of course they want to. And then, well, Graballa grabs the Saber of Skardont because apparently it's property of Graballa the Hutt Enterprises. Yay, because apparently you need a saber that can make you go crazy, be your property. Ugh, freaking Hutts. So, There is that. And then Poe tries to warn the Hutt about the dangers of the Sith treasure, but Grabala is only concerned about making money, of course. And then Dean hears a voice calling out to him from the Sith holocron inside a pillar and telling him to seize the power to free his mother. Bane is pleased that Dean found the holocron. He then tells Dean that that this holocron has the power to make any dream come true. Grabala is dismissive of the holocron, having the power to grant wishes, and Dean then says it's like the Wookiee's paw. And then Bane is like, ah yes, so you're aware of the Wookiee's paw. Then let me tell you a story about it. And Dean and Poe say they've heard the stories about the Wookiee's paw. But Bane is going to tell the story anyway. And this story is an interesting one, so Luke, go ahead.
Story 3, Wookiee's Paw. So it begins with a parody / recreation of the scene where Luke, Owen, and Beru are having dinner together in the early stages of A New Hope. And flip, I've completely forgotten what Owen was saying. Like the first thing he said.
Get your head out of the stars. We're short on harvest.
Thank you. And Luke is like, but I was going to Tashi Station to submit my application to the Academy. Because if you guys remember at the beginning of A New Hope, Luke initially...
He wanted to get off Tatooine.
Yeah, but in
one
this
way to do so is by submitting to the Academy. He did want to submit to the Imperial Academy canonically.
Oh, did he?
He wanted to. It's just that certain events, pretty much made him change his mind in A New Hope. However, in here,
he's dead set on the Imperial Academy. You know, going to that. But Owen, of course, scolds him for it, and Luke just gets the hump and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Then he is wandering around in Mos Eisley, and guess who shows up? A certain Toydarian by the name of Watto.
I can't believe he's still around. I mean, I don't even know if he survived the prequels, at least in Star Wars.
But Luke, as he's wandering around, is like, I really want a way to get off this rock. And then Watto suddenly appears and is like, hey, you look like someone who wants to get off this rock. And, he is the one who gives Luke the Wookiee's paw. And basically the Wookiee's paw is a item that in the context of the story it grants instantaneous and seemingly infinite wishes.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you say you wish for something to happen, a second or two later the chain of events of achieving that wish actually come about. And he says to the poor, I want to get off this rock. And who appears after that, General?
Appears a Imperial recruiting officer that he was like, hey kid, you look like you could join in the Imperial Academy. How about you join in the Imperial Academy? And Luke is like, yay, I'm in the Imperial Academy. And he literally joined.
So then Luke is a stormtrooper. Up until a moment where walking around the Death Star with some other... Oh no, it was a Star Destroyer, wasn't it? It wasn't the Death Star. While walking around a Star Destroyer with some other stormtroopers, he bashes his head on a door that was partly closed. Similar to something that actually happens in A New Hope. And he pulls out the Wookiee's paw and goes, I wish to be a pilot. Then a actual TIE Fighter pilot and
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Was it Grand Moff Tarkin, really?
Well, he looked
Jeepers,
like he looked like Grand Moff Tarkin, but if it isn't, then it was just an officer.
He was like, hey, give that pilot uniform to him. He looks too short to be a stormtrooper anyway. And he's like, so they walk off. The actual pilot gives Luke the uniform and he's like, I'm a pilot. So then he's actually just on patrol in flight. And he's like, being on patrol is boring. I forget what exactly he said next. but he wanted.
I wish
something
that I
more.
had a chance to show to everyone how great of a pilot I am. And the Wookiee's paw grants that.
And he gets this opportunity by accompanying, of all people, Darth Vader personally in a role-reversed Battle of Yavin situation.
Oh wait. We've yet to get to the actual Battle of Yavin. Right now they're just in a random space battle.
Oh.
So
And Luke gets his chance to accompany Vader personally in a random space battle and pulls off what is later referred to in the special as the 180 reverse proton maneuver or something.
180 reverse proton move.
And that stunt catches Vader's attention after the battle is over. And again, is it a Star Destroyer or the Death Star that they're on after that?
They are actually in the Death Star now.
Oh, they're in the Death Star. So Luke is just walking around, and Vader calls Luke over personally when he notices him walking around the halls, and he was like, "That move you were doing, what do you call it?" And then Luke specified what it was, the 180 reverse proton move.
And Vader is impressed, asks his name, and well,
Luke says it, Luke Skywalker, to which Vader has a bit of a stars in his eyes moment about himself. He was like, "Skywalker? I used to know a Skywalker once." And of course we know he's talking about himself. So Luke is like, "Lord Vader?" And Vader goes, "You remind me of, well, myself when I was younger. I will train you in the ways of the Force."
Yep.
And
And then,
do you want to go through the training that Luke is given, General?
okay, so Luke, before starting the training, he's like, "I wish to be more powerful than Darth Vader," and he clutches the Wookiee paw again, so to get that granted. And then he's practicing with a red lightsaber with the training remote. Vader is literally pulling an Obi-Wan Kenobi here and telling him that his eyes can deceive him, even when they're covered. So he pretty much gives him the helmet, the same helmet that Obi-Wan gave Luke. Yes, the exact same one. Luke manages to effect the training remote's blast, even hitting a stormtrooper with it. So there's that. And then Vader is teaching Luke how to force choke. And they're even doing it to several Imperial officers.
It started off with Luke not applying it in the most direct way because it was actually just tickling the officer at first, and then Vader very politely actually just makes Luke step aside, and he's like, "It's more like this," and then Vader does a proper force choke.
I just find it so funny that he's literally teaching the force choke to Luke, and not only that, but they have several officers lined up to be force choked. Oh my god.
Yeah, but it's not as funny as the next thing, where Luke is literally taking Vader on a piggyback ride.
Oh yes, that was hilarious too.
And he actually comes across the same chasm that he did with Leia when those two stormtroopers were opposite them canonically in A New Hope. And when Luke extended the cable to make the swing, Vader actually gives Luke an affectionate kiss. And he's like, "That's for good luck."
You know what? It's his father, so I can take it. So
I suppose.
yeah.
Then we come to the Battle of Yavin parody.
Yeah, the actual
we
Battle of Yavin.
And we get a couple of very interesting role reversals. Do you want to explain who
Okay.
I mean, General?
Okay, so instead of Red 5 being Luke, that actually is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, So Obi-Wan Kenobi is Red 5, and Leia apparently is Red Leader. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys heard that right. If you haven't watched the special. And
Yes.
Leia says to Obi-Wan, General Kenobi, thank you for rescuing me earlier. And then Obi-Wan is like, no, thank you. Oh, I forget what the
If it
second
wasn't
part
for-
was.
If it wasn't for you, I would have been crushed in the trash compactor of the Death Star.
Oh, yes, thank you for saving me from that trash compactor. And
Oh, and R2
What-
is also aboard one of the two X-Wings, by the way.
who is?
R2D2.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
So then, General mind explaining the result of this role reversal.
Well, to put it simply, they're going in the trench run. Luke manages to damage Kenobi's starfighter, forcing him to pull out, basically wedge, how it happened to him. And then Vader wants to close in on Leia's X-Wing, but Luke instead wants to take the glory and uses the 180 reverse proton maneuver on Leia. But Leia shoots the TIE fighter, causing Luke to spin out of control. He accidentally fires 2 blaster bolts into the Death Star's exhaust port and destroys the entire super weapon. And then Darth Vader is like angrily telling Luke that, yeah, you're going to be the most famous pilot in the galaxy for destroying the Death Star.
So, in case you guys haven't seen the special, whether it's canon or non-canon that you're talking about, Luke saved the day either way.
Except that in this case, he literally was not only working for the Empire, but he also accidentally destroyed the Death Star rather than actually doing it.
Yeah, so he was, in a sense, he was the indirect hero of the hour in this LEGO Star Wars special, but he sabotaged his own side by accident.
Which is funny because supposedly the exhaust port cannot have lasers get in it. That's why they had to use proton torpedoes. But then again, this is LEGO Star Wars, so who gives a shit?
Wait, was it lasers or proton torpedoes? I thought it
He
was
shot
torpedoes
lasers.
that were fired in there.
Look, TIE fighters do not have secondary weapons. They only have lasers. Unless it's Vader's TIE fighter, they have no secondary weapons. So it wasn't lasers. So yeah, but then again, who gives a shit? LEGO Star Wars. So there's that. I mean, that entire sequence was already non-canon. That never happened. In fact, even Poe says, once we go back to the present, even Poe says, no, that's not what happened. Don't believe this jackass. He's lying. Okay, he didn't say don't believe his jackass, but he did say it's not true.
Yeah, as we know. So then we are back in the present day.
Yep. And well, then basically Banay manages to finally prompts Dean to open the holocron, and he actually Dean manages to open the holocron because apparently he is force sensitive. And well, while Poe was trying to play to Dean that no, don't do it. Well, Dean opened the holocron. And, well, the holocron was open, but nothing happened. But basically, Banay, he wanted the holocron to be unlocked so he could grab it and make his plan to pretty much take over the galaxy. And he uses the holocron to summon several Sith objects in the Sith chamber, including Ren's mask and the Silver Scardont, to form a giant armored suit, a fucking transformer of sorts, which is insane. And then Poe, Dean, and BB-8, well, they realized that the 3 flashback stories were actually about himself, and now Banay wants to take over the galaxy and make the galaxy fear him. And Banay's like, me and my army are gonna destroy you. And the only army he has is the NIL-8 droid. But apparently that droid manages to activate the B-1 series battle droids that the Castle Vader had. And they pretty much go there and are ready to pretty much, well, help Banay, well, pretty much defeat our heroes. And because, yeah, apparently all the droids were pretty much, they were altered into pretty much being now these weird zombie-like serpent droids. which is interesting. And then everyone is fleeing from Banet and his army, and well, Poe decides to fight back and tell Dean that they have to remove Banet's hologram from his armor, which they do with a simple blaster shot, and they escape with the holocron, which is interesting. And Banet and the droids are searching for the power. Then they, well, while that happens, apparently Graballa, he faces off with, let's just say, one of the droids that is destroying a wall, and he's like,
Here's B14961138.
I'm sure that was a Mortal Kombat reference because he poked his head through the hole in the door and went, "Here's the number that you called out."
B14961138. Yeah, that.
Yeah, and he said it the exact same way that Johnny Cage says, "Here's Johnny."
It's possible.
Combat.
It's very possible it is. And then the two servants of the Hutt destroy the droid, and well,
I think another one starts doing the same thing as Garbala goes away.
Yeah, indeed. So there's that. And then Banet is pretty much rampaging into the castle, trying to find the holocron. He destroys Vader puppet, which... and then the puppet literally says, "I find your lack of souvenirs disturbing." Which Banet, of course, took issue with. So there's that. And then, well, Poe and Dean managed to get to the forest, back to their X-Wing, but let's just say that it's surrounded by droids, and BB-8, well, he decides to man up and literally takes down the battle droids all by himself, which, damn, that's something. So, yep. Oh, and Poe and Dean also have a speech about fear is what can give you courage. So there's that too. And then, well, let's just say that Dean climbs into the Starfighter to pretty much repair it. And then Poe goes back to buy him some time and take care of Banet. So Poe grabs an AT-ST and is pretty much shooting Banet and his army. And then the droid, Nihil-8, gets into an AT-AT and they have a fight. I'm surprised that the AT-AT is struggling against an AT-ST, but okay. So, whatever. Anyway, so then Banet attacks Poe's walker from behind, slicing off one of the joints, and both walkers fall into the lava. Poe survives, but he's being confronted by battle droids, and it seems like he's almost gonna lose until Dean arrives with the X-Wing to pretty much shoot at the droids and shoot at Dean. And, well, managed to do it, but Banet then threatens Dean to give out the holocron, or else he's gonna throw Poe into the lava. And Dean thinks about it, and, well, he basically says, "Be careful what you wish for," and throws the holocron into the lava, and Poe is basically let go, while BB-8 uses a cable to pretty much grab him and save him. But Banet, he pretty much succumbs to the lava. So, yep, he died a, let's just say, painful hot death. So, there's that. And then, well, Poe pretty much offers Dean to work for the Resistance because they need pilots. So, there's that. And, and before that, Dean also told Graballa he's no longer working for him, so he pretty much was unemployed. So there's that. And Graballa, well, he's not going to renew his Castle Vader, but he's going to find other ways to get rich, because of course, Hutts, typical. And at the end, well, Dean is going with Poe Dameron, and Poe even tells him, "You should meet my friend Rey. She knows a thing or two about the Force." Oh,
yeah, a thing or two? Are you serious? This is Rey we're talking about.
The biggest Mary Sue of them all, yeah.
Except it's Lego Star Wars, so it's a much easier pill to swallow.
There's that, yeah. And then Poe and Dean leave, but before that, Nihil-8 emerges from the lava. Oh, that droid actually survived. She pleads for forgiveness from her master for failing him, but Banet actually survived the lava and grabs Nihil-8's hand and laughs maniacally.
Yep. Funnily enough, that's how I described the laugh in my notes.
Yep.
And then the credits roll.
Yep. So I guess we'll see a sequel in October 2022. That'd be something. So, yeah, that's the story. So, what do you think, Luke?
Overall, it's simple, it's enjoyable, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, my favorite part literally is the entire line of Imperial officers getting ready to be force choked. Like, that's a concept I never thought would actually happen.
I think mine is either Maul force pushing Grievous off of the temple top where the Saber of Scar don't is, or the part where Sidious force pushes Maul out of the office or off the office balcony, and there's the whole whistling of the Imperial March theme as Maul falls down.
Oh my
One of those
God.
two.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that Luke Skywalker also loves drinking blue milk in that backstory. So I
Oh,
guess that's one.
yeah. Oh, and another small thing regarding Luke is that at the end of his training with Vader, he very quickly changed outfit-wise into his Return of the Jedi appearance and looked, with the black jumpsuit that he wears on Endor,
Uh-huh.
and had hints of dark side degradation were showing because of the big bags under the eyes. And he also had the shorter blonde hair that we know he had in Return of the Jedi.
That's something. Yep. So there's that. Yeah, this is a great special to watch for a little bit of terror, but it's more humorous and nonsensical shit that it's just amazing to watch. So, indeed. So yeah. So Luke, anything else to say, or shall we get to the conclusion?
Obviously, this special is a pretty recent release, but if you haven't watched it, set 45 minutes or so aside and just relax and watch it. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is indeed. Yep. So, okay, so now we get to our conclusive thoughts on this special. So, Luke, you go first.
Overall, for me personally, I think I prefer the 2020 Christmas special or holiday special a bit more. But I think that's just because of the fact that special's plot is a bit more outlandish scope wise, and all the areas that covered. But this is still hilarious in its own right. And hey, if you want another short Lego Star Wars movie of sorts to hold you over until a certain Lego Star Wars game comes out, then definitely give Terrifying Tales a watch.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. As for me, well, I pretty much say the same thing. This is definitely a great special, well worth watching. Do not worry if it has sequel trilogy elements. This is Lego Star Wars. You can't go wrong with it. You're gonna have a blast. You don't have to worry about continuity or any of that. Just enjoy it. This is a fun ride. So, yep. And with that, well, we're finished with LEGO Star Wars Terrifying Tales, and we'll see you guys on the next State of Star Wars video. Bye bye!
See you, everyone.